Hey y'all, I want to talk about the last time I saw you. Now, this is a smaller narrative-driven game. It's also a platformer, kind of a 2D platformer as well. But the most important stuff of the game is the story. I played all the way through it. It took me about like 5-ish hours, maybe 4 to 5 hours to do. It's split into different acts, and each act goes over multiple days. It takes place in kind of like the 80s Japan of sorts. And there's a big typhoon that comes and hits this town. And then you're gonna find out like why the typhoon has hit this town. You realize there's more to it than just a random occurrence. This game goes into like spirits and gods and deities, that sort of thing. It explores that real culture that Japan has and its history. So you meet the spirit and she's like, hey, you're the savior of the world, essentially. You have to save this town from being hit with another typhoon or another rainstorm. This keeps happening over and over again over different periods of time throughout history. If you want this to stop, listen to me and we're gonna fix this together. And then the main character you play is like, well, why me though? If everybody else just me, what was it? And then the spirit's like, it's just the way it is. You're the chosen one, sorry. And you're like, okay. You later on played a game and kind of found out more as to why the main character was picked. Each day has a checklist of tasks you need to do. One's like the main task, which is either go talk to the spirit, go explore the forest, meet up with your friends, and then you'll have some side quests that you can do as well for the characters in the story. And as you go through the game, once you complete those side quests, and more side quests for them will pop up. And most of the side quests are just going and fetching stuff. That's it. It's not much more to it than that, but if you really care about the characters, you get to learn more about the town, and you can actually see each character's own story progression through the game besides the character you're playing, which is kind of nice. So all the characters in this game that you talk to have some little story arc. It could be a minor one or it could be a bigger one, but it's nice that the developer took the time to flesh out these side characters and to see where they started at in the game until their end of the game. Story-wise, the game takes place just about like over a week, so it's a short period of time. And, you know, each day doesn't take too long to get through. I would say maybe like it could be a half hour to 45 minutes, depending on how long you want to take, whether you just want to mainline the story or get through the side missions as well. This game, playing it, also reminded me a bit of a Space for the Unbound, which is a game I played earlier this year as well. I definitely recommend playing that. Just the way it kind of moves and stuff. The difference is with this one, the fighting's a little more interactive. You're using just one button to like swing a bat and stuff, but you're kind of swinging in real time, and you know, kind of button mash to fight these spirits off if you need to. Because when you're going through this forest in the game, you're fighting off these spirits, and the forest is what you're going through to get items that you need to kind of help stop this thing. And you're visiting different locations, picking up the same item at different locations. There's a little bit of a rhythm game sort of pattern element to it as well, but nothing too tense and crazy. It's just kind of memorization where you're just following the beat of the bells, and you're hitting the bells in the same beat. Nothing too complicated. The game itself isn't that difficult, so it's good for younger people to play, for maybe even kids to explore a bit. Although it's got a lot of adult themes for kids, there is a little bit of a language to it, so I wouldn't recommend that little kids play it, but maybe like teenagers it would be fine, because there is some curse words in it. And a lot of the themes are about like just being a teenager growing up, so I feel like the younger generation there, like the Gen Z, could like kind of relate to it in a way, even though it takes place in the past, just to show similarities of, you know, having friends and, you know, talking to girls, and like how you feel about your parents and what's happening with the parents and things like that. So it's still all relatable, even though it takes place in the past. And it's cool, like they'll add little extra elements in there on the TV where it looks like an old school TV, and you'll see little screenshots of stuff that you see from the 80s. They even have a little game in there as well, which is kind of nice. So you do have the option of talking with certain characters or not, and that could possibly determine the outcome like of the game. I'm not 100% sure about that. I haven't really looked into it, but I got like a specific ending, and I got like trophies unlocked and all that. I was playing it on Steam. Ran super smooth, you know, doesn't take a lot to run. But it seemed like this game you could replay at least a couple times to get sort of different outcomes and scenarios in terms of how it's played. So you can also get money in the game by knocking down spirits. You can also like purchase items and all that. So the incentive of like doing these extra quests is like mostly the story, but you do get access to items, and then these items unlock extras in the game, which are basically, it's just a gallery. It's just like an art gallery of still images. So if you're not into like art gallery stuff, there might not be that much incentive for you to try to go do all this extra content, but I think it's worth it just to explore the story and all that, and the gallery is just like a little added bonus on the side. Now, my favorite part of the game, I would say by far, is the artwork. The art style is really neat. It feels really alive when you're playing the game, and there's not really cut scenes in the game per se. There's scenes where it'll cut to like a zoomed image that's like kind of moving during like a special scene where the characters are talking. And it happens maybe like once or a couple times a chapter, I would say. It doesn't happen too often, but it's really cool when you see it. When they take the art style and they just put it as a still image, add some life into it, and the characters are moving a little bit, and it's just really like wonderful to see. It's a really like beautiful pieces of art within this game. Yeah, so this game I think is definitely worth checking out. Again, the art style alone is awesome. It's worth playing this type of game. It just is a reminder of how art can be really beautiful and nice, and different styles of art can apply to games, you know, and it's just worth checking out to see the amount of effort that was put into this. Don't let this slip by you. This game is really good, and it's not too long, and it's worth the time that you put into it.